Hello, I'm Brenda Winkle, and I'm so excited today to have with us Cathy Kearns of Reiki Renewal in Boise, Idaho. Cathy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here too.
I'm so excited. So Cathy and I are longtime friends, and I'd love to talk about how we met. Do you want to tell that story, Cathy?
Sure. So, Brenda and I worked at the same school, and just by chance, she was asking me for if I knew any massage therapists in the area because she was new to our building. And I said, "Oh, I have someone." And I went and grabbed her card. And when I handed it to her, you had said something about, "Oh, Reiki." And I stopped because I was leaving the room. And I said, "Do you know about Reiki?" And you go, "Well, I've heard about it." And so I offered her to Brenda a free session because I think Reiki is something that everyone needs to feel. I mean, you can explain it, but it's really the feeling component that it's hard to describe.
Mhm.
And so um, it was at that time that you took me up on the offer. And ever since then, I don't think you've stopped ever enjoying Reiki.
It's true. As soon as like my very first session, I was hooked. I was like, what is this? I have to have more.
Yeah. And it's been wonderful. So our friendship has grown, not only through working at the same building, but also through Reiki as well.
Absolutely. We've had a
Yeah.
lot of fun together.
Yes,
Road trips related to Reiki and a lot of road trips not.
that's true.
And just fun in general. So
Yeah, well, it was
it's
all fun.
it was, yeah, definitely. I value your friendship very much.
Thank you.
So one of the questions that I asked you early on was, how did you find Reiki?
Oh, teachers always have to learn. So, I laugh and I say I have an inquiring mind. And that's one of the things that I think teaching develops in you if you don't already have it. And I saw this documentary years ago about nurses using Reiki in the hospitals, and it was in the UK. And I thought, wow, that would be really cool if it really worked. And so that was kind of always in the back of my mind. And then I saw um, a place where you could train for it locally. And I thought, well, I'll take Reiki 1, which is hilarious because I hadn't had a Reiki session at all. So I had no idea what I was going into. And so after that Reiki 1 class, it seemed like the more that I learned, the more I wanted to know because it just fascinated me. And it was making such a huge change for me personally that um, it really intrigued me. I just wanted to learn more, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
That is so cool. I felt the same way. Like I was curious about it and I wanted to know more because the more I learned, the better I felt.
Mhm.
And I could see the changes in my home, in my pets, in myself, in my family.
Right, and I could see how people reacted to me different too, which told me that my vibration my energy was different that I was projecting.
Mhm.
And that in itself fascinated me, how that worked,
Right.
right? I had been an insomniac for over 20 years. 3 hours of sleep on Ambien was a good night for me. And so it was seriously.
Yeah.
And I did sleep studies in that, and they said, it's not anything physically that's holding you, keeping you from sleeping. And it wasn't until I learned Reiki and started doing self Reiki and that I just gradually healed whatever it was that needed to be healed, where I can sleep between 8, 9 hours of sleep a night without any assistance, which is huge for me. Huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I felt like I used my pets as an excuse. I used my dogs because they were getting older at that time. And I was like, oh, I better learn more about Reiki so that I can give the dogs Reiki.
Sure.
And the whole time I was learning to give the dogs Reiki, I was feeling calmer and I was feeling more connected, I guess is the right word, more connected to the universe, to the energy around me, to understanding what was happening
Mhm.
um, within the energetic field. And that sounds kind of woo woo, but
Right.
it's true.
It is true. Yeah, it's makes you allows you to be more connected, more centered, definitely more grounded. Um, and it gives you the opportunity, your brain kind of retrains itself so that you have that extra time to kind of step back and take a look at things before you have a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And I love the way that you describe Reiki. In fact, I often use the same description, but since it's yours, would you give us a 2 sentence description of what Reiki is?
Sure. And the funny thing is, I just taught a class yesterday, and I said you have to know your audience. I live in Idaho, and I do energy work. And so when someone asks me what Reiki is, I give them a very generic answer and see where their questions lead. So what I tell them first is that it's a Japanese relaxation technique that triggers the body's natural healing response. And then from there, what questions they have will help me determine where their curiosity is and how I can answer those questions for
That's awesome.
them.
That's just so succinct, and it lets them really drive the information that they're seeking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love it. So before we dive into the topic today, which you actually already mentioned, which
Right.
was getting grounded, can you
Right.
tell us a little bit? You've mentioned your clients, you've mentioned classes. Can you
Uh-huh.
tell us a little bit about what your business is?
Sure, sure. So the name of it is Reiki Renewal. It's located in Boise, Idaho. I offer Reiki sessions and theta healing sessions. I also do intuitive readings. And I offer classes in all different types of Reiki and different levels of theta healing. Um, and that's what I do. I think it's wonderful.
I think it's wonderful too. And in case it's not obvious, Cathy was my Reiki teacher. And so I went through the Reiki Master Program with Cathy at Reiki Renewal. And then we got our training for Theta Healing together, the first training.
Right.
And then Cathy went on and got her teacher training. And then I went back to Cathy and got more training from Cathy uh, for Theta Healing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which has worked out really well. I think it's been fun.
it has been so fun.
Uh-huh.
So fun, literally life changing for me. Like
Yeah.
my life is, it is visibly different to everyone who knows me since I have started doing this work.
Isn't that amazing?
It is really inspiring.
Uh-huh.
It to me.
Oh, me too. Me too. Because I've got to have a front row seat and watching that too. So it's always fun to see how um, energy work, translates into someone's life and how it changes and evolves.
Mhm. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing. So I mentioned this before that we were going to talk about grounding, because grounding is something that we hear, and we're not talking about you're grounded, not that kind of like
Right.
punitive thing that you might say to your kids. We're talking about grounding, but what does that actually mean?
So to me, relating it to your child being grounded, and you wouldn't ground a child unless they're getting really flighty, not paying attention, just doing whatever without any rhyme or reason, then they're grounded. And grounding for your body means that your energetic body, this energy has gotten really chaotic, where you might have a hard time sleeping, you might have a hard time making decisions, brain fog, those type of things where something's just not right. I have some clients that tell me it kind of feels like being a hamster on an exercise wheel. Doesn't matter how fast you go, you're not getting anywhere. And
Mhm.
so grounding's being able to ground out your energetic circuit with the earth so that you can become more centered and be able to make those decisions that you need to make without feeling like you're in fight and flight mode.
That's awesome. So you talked about a couple of things, but if someone's thinking right now, I wonder if I'm grounded. If someone was not grounded, what might they see?
So if they're not grounded, they would worry a lot. They would have a lot of anxiety, maybe even panic attacks if this is a situation or issue that's been going on for a long time. They're going to feel tired, like they're really drained, um, not really care about what's going on in life, and definitely not living in the present. So,
Yeah, that's a pretty good description.
Pretty
And
good, good list.
yeah, absolutely. And then, so if you're the one not grounded, that's kind of what it looks like. But what might you feel? Like, are you going to feel flighty and spacey, or what's more typical?
You're going to feel like you're daydreaming all the time. You're scattered. You're going to feel, just uneasy. You might see a lot of unfinished projects starting to pile up and not having the energy to finish those, not having a lot of joy in the things that used to bring you joy in life.
Mhm.
That's what it would feel like from the inside.
From the inside, yeah. And we hear people talk about that so much, especially since the pandemic. People
Right.
are wondering, like, what's it all for? And what do I do next?
Exactly. Yeah.
So if someone wanted to get grounded, it just feels so ambiguous. How would you go about getting grounded?
Well, you could always come see me, see someone that does Reiki, right? See there's someone that does energy work, but you would want to try some things on your own, you
Mhm,
know. Definitely, they do a thing called earthing, where you walk barefoot on the earth, and it's not on concrete. It actually has to be in connection with the earth. That helps close that circuit, energetic self, so it helps include the earth in that. That's what's called
mhm,
earthing. I always recommend yoga, exercise, meditation, working in soil. So if you want to plant things, that would help ground. Going for a hike, um, that that type of thing.
mhm. I love it. One of my favorites is putting my forehead right on a tree.
Oh yeah.
I could literally give the tree a little hug and put my
Uh-huh.
forehead right there, and it just like is so soothing.
Oh yeah, and even soaking in a warm tub for 20 minutes with Epsom salts
Mhm.
is going to help you.
I love it. So if you've tried these things and it's still not feeling grounded, there's still more we can do, right?
Right, right.
So I had asked you if maybe you could lead us in a grounding experience, so that if somebody was home and they're thinking, I'm not grounded. I think I'd like to try to get grounded. I don't know where a tree is today, or whatever.
It's snowing. I don't want to go stand out in the snow, right?
Right, exactly. What are some things that they could do? And would you lead us through an experience?
Sure, absolutely. So I can lead you through a meditation. It was one that shared with me years ago, and it's what I call earth sky breath. And so, absolutely. So if you want to get comfortable
Okay.
and close your eyes and go ahead and take a couple deep breaths. And when you breathe, with each breath, I want you to focus it on your heart space. And with each breath, I'd like you to imagine that heart space becoming a ball of light. And that ball of light's going to continue to grow. Awesome. And with the next breath, with the next exhale, I'd like you to send that ball of light down through your root chakra and into the earth. And when you inhale, bring that ball of energy back up into your heart space. And when you exhale, send it back down into the earth, each time going a little deeper. And each time when you bring it back up, bring some earth energy back up into your heart space. And you can continue that cycle at your pace. And the next time you're in your heart space, when you exhale, we're going to send that ball of energy up through your crown chakra and up into the sky. When you inhale, bring some sky energy back into your heart space. When you exhale, send it back up into the sky, each time going a little higher, and each time bringing some sky energy back into your heart space. And you can continue that cycle at your pace. And when you're back in your heart space this time, we're going to connect those two cycles together. So from your heart space, with the next exhale, send energy back into the earth. When you inhale, bring some earth energy back up into your heart. When you exhale, send it back through your crown. When you inhale, bring some sky energy back into your heart space. So it becomes an infinity symbol. And you can continue that cycle at your pace. And the next time you're in your heart space, we're going to stay there. Take a couple deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That felt so awesome. So I don't know if you're watching the video, if you can see visibly the difference in my energy. You can, if you can see or sense it, maybe sense it. But I know I came in deliberately a little ungrounded. I ran out to PDX to drop my sister off at the airport. I came back, fixed a quick lunch, and then I just knew that we were going to do this. And so I wanted to have people see and feel the difference between when you're a little reactive to whatever you've been doing, even if it's not bad, it might be a really good thing. It can definitely affect your energy, and you can start to leak energy all over the place.
Right.
And I feel like when I'm grounded, I'm funneling my energy towards something.
Right. You're more focused in where you want to spend your energy, and more selective too. When you've done this for a while, do I really want to expend that amount of energy to do this or get involved in this situation? And you just become more selective.
Right, exactly. And more empowered in having the awareness that you can make a choice.
Absolutely.
I love that. That is so cool. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So if somebody wanted to find you or find more about you or your work, where would they find you?
They could find me online. My web address is reikirenewal.com. So that's REIKI renewal.com. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on Instagram. So
That's amazing. I can't wait. I hope that you will go check out more of Cathy's work on ReikiRenewal.com and on Facebook and Instagram, because she's got some great things that she shares. And I always get a kick out of, she's got a great sense of humor, in case you haven't picked that up. And there's a lot in there that is actually helpful, but there's some great humor in there too.
thank you.
Great dry wit. I love it. Thank you so much for being with us today and for being a guest. And I just can't wait to hear feedback from people, and I'm excited to share this. So thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop. And to all of you, please give us some feedback on what you try and what you notice. I bet you'll feel really different, and we can't wait to hear from you.